Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another video. This is another paid request, this time for one of my dear friends, Efrey. Thank you so much for that. One of my brother from another mother. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos or topics, reactions, reviews, commentaries, randomness, out of the blueness, whatever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now this is for the 1985 film Walking the Edge, with Robert Forster, Joe Spinell, Nancy Kwan, and others. Now, I think I vaguely had heard of this film, but I had not seen it before. And Walking the Edge, Robert Forster, may rest in peace, great underrated character actor who was in the wonderful Alligator from 1980. That's an underrated creature feature. He worked with Quentin Tarantino and Jackie Brown. He was in Me, Myself, and Irene with Jim Carrey. He's been around, and again, always nice to see him, especially as a star like in this movie. Joe Spinell, who was the killer in Maniac from 1980. He was in the first and I think second Rocky films. He was in a few others. He plays our villain. Nancy Kwan, she was in a couple movies in the 70s. She was a big thing for about 15 minutes. And a few other people that I don't remember their names, but they seem familiar. Now, Jay Chataway did the music. I thought he did a decent job on the musical score. Jay Chataway also did the music for Maniac Cop, among other movies. The story is that Nancy Kwan, she has a kid, and these bad guys led by Joe Spinell go into her house, and they're looking for her husband, and they say that her husband was a dope pusher. She doesn't believe it at first, but it seems like that may be the case. The husband comes home, there's a bit of some stuff happens, and the husband and the kid get killed, but Nancy Kwan escapes. So it cuts to some time later, we're introduced to our main character, Robert Forster, who's a cab driver, who works with the mafia type of guys, a little bit of gambling ring, to try to help this guy get money from people who owe it to the guy. He also finds out that his wife's cheating on him. And Robert Forster makes the movie. I would say this, the amount of enjoyment you'll get out of this film is how much you're a fan of Robert Forster. But at least in this, there are other elements I do like. I like the bit of a sleazy underbelly. This time period of the city is showcased. Kind of like in Maniac, 1980, and other films. It's definitely a certain set of circumstances compared to if you tried to do this today. And the cities have changed, the sleaziness is not there. Like you have this foul-mouthed hooker, which I liked her attitude though she has some good lines. Robert Forster has a lot of good lines too. Like he does kill someone and he says, "Say hello to the hot weather." In other words, hell. So I thought that was a good line. Or he'll hug someone and be like, "What are you doing?" Robert Forster goes, "Well, from what I understand, you need 3 hugs a day just to survive." That's number 1. And I like the arc he goes through where he's a guy that's a pushover, but he's tired of being pushed around, and by the end he finally stands up to himself, which is a nice arc. And Robert Forster, I thought, played that fairly well. And like I said, with the musical score and the whole feel of that 80s, little bit of, I don't want to say exploitation, but a little bit of that sleazy underbelly. And Joe Spinell, he's not in the film a whole lot, but when he pops up, it's always nice to see. He's a good actor to play as a villain. But yeah, Robert Forster's doing his job as a cab driver, and he gets a new ride. A new customer, I should say, Nancy Kwan, who asks him to go to each of these places. Now, it's not like Collateral with Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx. It's not like the entire movie is taking her to A, B, and C. That's a little bit, but then Nancy Kwan tries to do some business. She does kill a couple people, but there's a few people she misses because she's not an expert on this. Robert Forster doesn't know what the hell's going on. They both leave, hightail it out of there, hold up at Robert Forster's place, and then Forster's like, "I don't know what the hell's going on." She tells him, "These are the people that killed my husband, and especially my kid." And then I would say that the middle portion hurts the film. There's two things that I think are flaws. Now, I do like the film. I liked it because Robert Forster's a lot of fun. He has a lot of good lines of dialogue in the movie. I'm no coward, but I ain't no hero either. Or, listen, I'm not real hip to this whole thing. Never saw death before. Sorry, lady. But for me, it scared the shit out of me. Or even Joe Spinell, when one of his men's been killed, and he's talking to the others, and he's like, you know what? You should talk. You thought beating your meat was the best piece of ass in East LA. But, like I said, I like the hero, I like the villain, I like the direction is okay, the direction is capable enough. But the middle portion gets a bit boring. Not too boring, because I'm still in it for Robert Forster, but it's kind of like Robert Forster's film The Banker, where the middle kind of slows down, but it does have an entertaining enough finale. It is a low-budget movie. I mean, they don't have the same plot, but they both... A lot of mileage is gotten through based on Robert Forster's shoulders. The Banker is this other film, which I did like. For me, this is kind of in the same ballpark of how much enjoyment I got out of it, because if it was another actor, like maybe if it was like someone I really liked, like a James Spader or someone else, maybe I would like it the same. But if this was a weaker actor, this would be kind of a meh, forgettable junk. Because it's not the action scenes are not going to spark your fire, so to speak. The middle portion is kind of just him trying to find money, extra money to get this girl out of town. So either he goes to this place here, or this pimp who tells him to fuck off and threatens him, or was looking for this hooker. Where's this guy at? Ultimately, he sees that hooker again, who warns him, hey, your head is on the chopping block, they got a reward for you. Or they go to Joe Spinell, talking to his honchos, his fellow bad guys, try to see who this guy is, where they're going. They get one of Robert Forster's buddies and torture him for a bit. Got a little bit of drill work, so you have a little bit of blood. There's a little bit of blood. It's not one person early on gets shot in the head. You see a bit of blood splatter. There's a drill that goes into an appendage. But, yeah, I mean, you definitely see gorier movies. The other thing that was weird is that the Nancy Kwan character, it does seem like she was going to be a much bigger part of the film, because she's in the first scene in the movie. It's her family that gets killed. She's the one inciting the revenge aspect. She's the one who hires Robert Forster. And then, because she's not an expert on this, she fails a bit. But then, like a good chunk of the movie, she's just in the background. For the rest of the movie, for the most part, she's just stuck in Robert Forster's place. She has a few conversations with Robert Forster and a little bit of lovey-dovey story, which, I mean, I don't know if I bought 100% the love story. I'm like, there's no time for love, Dr. Jones, but, I didn't mind Nancy Kwan as an actress. I didn't think she was bad. I just thought she would play much more a primer aspect in the finale of the revenge aspect, since they did kill her kid. So I figured it'd be the both of them getting revenge, or both of them teaming up. I mean, even the poster makes it seem like, okay, now they're both going to team up against these bad guys. This is not the case. Now, it's a catch-22 on the one hand. It doesn't bother me too much, because that means it's more focused on Robert Forster, and I like that because I'm a big Robert Forster fan. So on the plus side, that's really cool. On the negative side, it's like, it's just weird that with the build-up of Nancy Kwan's character, I think she's kind of just put in the background for the rest of the movie. That's just, it's not typical, and again, I'm of two minds. It's kind of cool that it's not typical, but at the same time, it just threw me off a bit. Maybe in second viewing, that wouldn't be bothered as much. But just in the first viewing, it's like, oh, okay, that's how it is. But again, it does leave room for more Robert Forster stuff, and you see him get a bit more of his, how do I put it, growing a bit more of a pair of balls. His confidence is growing a bit more. And, the finale is not like a big death wish type of finale. It works for what it needs to because of the... How do I say that without giving it away? Robert Forster has a couple of nice, cool moments, including one with a knife, which is wince-inducing toe clincher. Like, but when he does battle with Joe Spinell, that was disappointing because it ends too quick. I thought Joe Spinell, the way he went out was too easy, too quick. There wasn't really a fight or a battle, or wasn't really that graphic or gory or creative. I think a lot more could have been done with that. I thought, well, that's kind of a middling way to kill the main bad guy. Maybe because, I'm used to even, whether it be Commando, throwing the steam pipe, or Cobra, putting the hook on someone, and then they get burned. Even, Death Wish 3, bazooka right into someone's face. Granted, more over the top, but here's like, okay, that's it. Not even, like, have him get shot a couple times with blood squibs, at least. Like, pop, 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 pop. So again, while Jay Chataway's score works for the film, while the movie's not too long, I mean, it's only an hour and 30-some minutes. So, even though the middle portion could get a bit sluggish, it definitely doesn't overstay its welcome, at the very least. Like I said, Robert Forster, he's a pro. He definitely makes this film worth a watch. If you like one of those sort of kind of more lower key, not as much action, but it's more character work on Robert Forster's part, and again, just more of this, I don't want to say it's trying to be realistic, but it's trying to be just this sluggish way of trying to stay alive. And spoiler alert, spoilers, like when he punches and kicks and breaks this one guy's neck. There's one guy in the bathroom, he takes a knife and shoves it up the guy's ass. When you have Robert Forster shoving a knife up a guy's ass, it's not too bad of a movie. Like, I can't get mad at a film where that happened, but oh shit, okay, this is noteworthy. This is a film I could see someone like Tarantino or others being a fan of and growing up. It's like, oh yeah, Robert Forster, let me get that guy for Jackie Brown. I could see, and they'd have good taste, because again, Walking the Edge, it's not a film I'm going to run out to see again, but it's at least like a 3 out of 5 star movie, at least. Maybe 3.5 on a good day, but at the very least 3. I mean, it's a pretty decent film. I may go 3.5 just because, the knife up the ass. Yeah, give it 3 stars for Robert Forster, and then 3.5. Bump it up because knife up the ass. So give me no sass. I just wish Nancy Kwan was put more into the proceedings in the second half. I just wish maybe the middle portion was a bit tightened up, or maybe a bit more like scuffles, like Robert Forster getting a few scuffles, fist fights with some people. And maybe, it's toe-to-toe, and he gets beaten up, and he socks one, or I don't know. Maybe a little bit more of that. But, other than that, decent time. It was a decent time. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.